Hi friends, I'm going to share a real but pretty scary phenomenon of energy being stolen from virgin youths. So this case study happened from a client of my mentor, Teacher Lu Xia, who came to consult Teacher Lu over her daughter's mental health issue. So her daughter has been, since her late teens, been suffering from mental health issues of all sorts. And she's become very withdrawn and depressed and just not able to work and function normally. So, of course, her issue was a combination of many different factors, but the starting point of it all happened when the girl was about 17 years old or so. Her family actually went overseas for a pilgrimage because they follow like a particular spiritual organization. They went there to have their pilgrimage, to volunteer and engage in spiritual practice. So, daughter followed them, and they regularly went back there to do volunteer work and things like that. And the mom also, when she looked back, she actually asked Teacher Lu that it seems that since that point, her daughter's condition started to kind of deteriorate, because before that, her daughter actually did very well in her studies, very diligent at studies, and was just a very bright, cheerful, and proactive girl. But it was when she looked back from that point onwards where things started to kind of go downhill, where her daughter started to get very distracted, couldn't concentrate in school, eventually developed all these sorts of mental health issues and couldn't even study properly, and now couldn't even find a proper job and work properly because her entire state is just not there. So Teacher Lu shared that yes, the issue happened due to things that went on in the spiritual organization. So basically there were people in the organization, in this case, not the spiritual master, that spiritual teacher or leader themselves being the cause of the problem, but rather the other followers that were in the organization that actually created this trouble, where they actually saw this girl, she has a very interesting past life. It was in one lifetime where she was like a general that was working in the royal palace and protecting the emperor. Because of the work that she did, she accumulated a lot of merits. So on her soul, on the energetic level, is very high in energy, which is why actually she has an inclination and she has spiritual gifts per se. She has a stronger sensing in this area. Due to this good thing that she's done in the past, that resulted in her soul having a higher energy level because of this thing that she did. And so this higher soul energy from the past life still continue to carry forward into this lifetime. Although she's still young and she hasn't fully unlocked and developed this yet, but her soul energy is very strong. And so what Teacher Lu saw was that some malicious other followers that were in the organization saw that her daughter has this high soul level energy. What they actually literally did was steal part of her soul away. Essentially, everything is all energy, right? Even our soul is also an energy form. So essentially, they took some of this energy, which is from the soul, and then kept it for their own use. Whether is it to elevate their own spirituality or to improve their own luck, wealth, and things like that. And so what Teacher Lu saw was that her soul was kind of like caged and locked away at this particular place by this particular people. Which is why ever since then, she started to not be like herself. Because like why some people have the saying that you look like you lost a soul, but you're just not yourself. So this is what really happened to this young girl. And what was even more interesting was that the mother actually said that in the organization, there were also a lot of parents like her who brought their young children over there to engage in like those spiritual lessons, because they have like programs for children, youth and things like that. And she did notice that quite a number of these children, as they grew up, they also developed mental health issues. So it's not just them being an isolated case. So of course, definitely there are many spiritual organizations out there with good intent. But I think that's something to be aware of, that there's always these elements that are involved. So whether is it perhaps you or a family member of yours who's going through something that feels a little abnormal, and you kind of have this suspicion that maybe your energy has been stolen or jeopardized, then that could be an area that you could look into. Or from another point of view, this is just like general knowledge for y'all to know that there is such a thing, because for youths who are virgin, they are very pure and strong energies. And sometimes unethical people, whether they are spiritual practitioners or they are people who are not spiritual practitioners but they can detect it, they may employ ways, if they don't have a good character and heart, to want to take this energy for themselves to elevate themselves quicker.